TeamSport Victoria, a small track in the heart of Manchester that also happens to be my local track. And when you combine it with about 14 other people, it can prove to be very chaotic. This video, in what I'm calling Victoria Madness, I believe perfectly highlights that. This is MedicDoesRacing, welcome to Manchester Victoria. Alrighty, welcome to session number 1. We get started now. I just want to give a little bit of a preface. So, what you can see in front of you there on that little light just in front of my hands, it's a yellow light, which means a yellow flag. Slow down, no overtaking, usually means there's been an incident. We're going to be counting how many of those today there are as we get overtaken under yellow flags, as he overtakes someone else under yellow flags. Great starts. We love someone who's able to follow rules, and as you can see here, there is a little light right at the end of the corridor. That one is red. That means stop, no overtaking, no moving, more of a serious incident. So we're going to be keeping track of both of those today, mentally, on the screen. We'll see. So this is going to be fun. Yeah, they sound really angry saying lights test, that poor dude there. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Watch the light.
We love a little bit of karting beef now, don't we? As we go under green flag conditions, we get started, we overtake a guy around the outside, and we're already on yellow flags. Yeah, this is going to be a recurring incident. Deary me. Skip forward a little bit because I don't want to bore you all as we get racing once again. Oh, I should have said for the first time. We go up the up ramp and there's a lot of karts here. We brake a little bit early, go up the inside of one, round the outside of another guy who I have no idea what he was doing. As we go down the down ramp hairpin, round the double left-handers. Yeah, I promise I will give you a run through what this track is like just when we get a clean lap in. As we go to a red flag, we are off to a cracking start here, people, as we go back racing once again under yellow flag conditions. The light was briefly red then for a second, as it goes red again. Yeah, mint. As I put my thumbs up sarcastically to my poor girlfriend who is enduring taking me to all these karting sessions. I love you very much. So we get back racing again. We go around the outside of one guy, or up the inside should I say. Go up the up ramp, there are two guys on our inside. We'll try and stick it around the outside of both of them. We get past one, we switch to the other side of the track, try and get past the other, but he does a pretty decent defensive move and cuts us off. As we go through a gap that is barely a kart wide, into the double left hander, getting the move done. Now we're starting to get through these people, starting to steamroll through them as you can see, and there's a yellow flag. Yeah, we are cooking today. We are absolutely cooking. We might get one lap in eventually at some point, but you know, God, who knows. So we get going again for the 8 millionth time, but you know, we'll get there eventually. So we're catching up to a dude, we get past him on the straight, and we go into the double right-hander at the up ramp. We're catching up to someone else. Do I look down the inside? No. I do not want to get in a collision as he shuts the door quite aggressively, and you can see my frustration. And then we go to a red flag followed by a yellow, but I'm trying my best not to bore you all by putting in these constant cuts where the flags are happening. So we do get back racing, we use our boost, and we get a much better launch than this guy. So we get past him on the straight into the up ramp double right hander followed by the down ramp left hander. Now obviously you don't know what's coming up, but I do. This kart was something. So I'm right behind him, probably about 10 centimeters behind him, and this bit here is flat out. He brakes very heavily while I'm straight behind him. Now, granted, he might not have known that I was behind him just at the start of the incident. However, he turned around, looked at me, then continued to brake. As you can see me clearly shaking my head on the video. So it was just a bit frustrating. Obviously, if you think I'm the idiot in this situation, leave it in the comments below. But from my point of view on the day, I feel like I was the one that was on the suffering end there. As you just saw, signal to my girlfriend, the number one, because I just want one single lap in this session. And do we get one? Yeah, let's see, shall we? Yeah, the one lap lasted a very long time as I put my thumbs up, sarcastically, as we are under another red flag, which quickly turns into a yellow. Just a quick note, yellows after reds don't count like you've just seen there. I will take you through a hot lap of this track very shortly, I do promise. Even though you've seen the track now about 10 times, but you know, whatever. We go up the inside of that guy, double right-hander, he's starting to learn the track now, as am I, hinting like I've not been here for a while. We don't talk about that bit. So, we are pushing quite hard now, we want to get some fast laps in. This lap here isn't relatively quick, it was like a 34 something, not very great in the grand scheme of things. But it sets up the fastest lap of the session, which I will show you in one moment. So a guy almost spins out, we pass him up the inside, we don't really nudge that guy, he just had an awkward break in as we go up the inside of another one as well, as we start our flying lap of the session. So, up the up ramp into the double right-hander as we are fighting with the Kart to not get a massive snap of oversteer as we stomp it to the left as we get another snap of oversteer. We go into the double left-hander hairpin as we clip the wall. This is a very clean, fast lap. As we go into the first hairpin, snap of oversteer. Into the second hairpin, miss the apex. As we go into the double right-hander, we get an overtake done. We press the boost when we go over the little grid, and we set the fastest lap of the session, which was a 33.8, which isn't that quick. It's about a second off my PB. Considering how chaotic the session has been, as you can see, it's not the worst thing in the world. As we're back onto yellow flags, I'm starting to get quite annoyed at this, but you know, what can you do? Genuinely, what can you do? As we get racing again, there's 3 cars in front of me. I have a look up the inside, I don't go for it, as I knew he was going to make a move. Broke very awkwardly there, but we get past 2 of them. I use my boost and I go for what seems to be my trademark move, as it's up the inside on the up ramp into the double right-hander. So we go round the outside of one, and there's another one right there in front of me who breaks very awkwardly, but we swap to the inside for the double left-hander. We're zooming now down a straight. I see 2 of them ahead of me. I brake early-ish to then set up and move down the inside, as Kart number 5 is doing a very good defensive line if we were fighting for the Formula 1 World Championship, but we're not. It's a practice session at TeamSport Victoria and rental cars. Yellow flag turns into green flag quickly through the power of editing once again as we go up the inside of one, into hairpin one, and someone spins out right in front of me. Wiz there on the left hand side starts laughing. There was nothing I could have done to avoid it, but I did my best. As we go onto the start finish straight, as we go past one on the outside, question mark, it's not a question mark, he lets me past. I put a thumbs up to him because, you know, we love those type of people. As we go into the hairpin, and it's a red flag. This guy was very nice, give me a fist bump, we were talking for a little bit, but we're going to skip forward here a little bit just so you don't have to do all the boring waiting. I'm telling him to go ahead because it's no overtaking still, and he wanted to let me past, but I'm not risking getting pulled into the pits for it. As I get him up the inside here through the assist of my boost button, and we go through the double right-hander. As I start terribly singing, I'm hoping that I can shield you from that with the music I've got playing and my awful voiceovers. As we go into the double right-hander once again, this session is very much a rinse and repeat of there's a yellow flag / red flag, then I'm hunting people down trying to get past them, and then it's not the easiest thing to do. But this is a team sport session, and the team sport session isn't complete without another yellow flag. And yeah, there was nothing really else to see that session, so I'll call it quits there, and I'll see you in session 2.
Is it done, or is it another crash?
And welcome back to session number 2. Yeah, let's see how this one goes. Someone's parked it on the second hairpin. I love TeamSport Victoria sometimes. This is not one of those times. There's a reason why I've called this video Victoria Madness, because it was insane. As the guy who I will be referring to as the mechanic, as he is a TeamSport worker, makes 2 quick overtakes as I follow him through. He's giving the karts a test in quotation marks, but that isn't going well as we go under a yellow flag. Now you'll see me frantically waving my arms about here. There's a guy behind me trying to overtake me under yellow flags. Yeah, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to overtake under yellow flags, as I'm there pointing to him. It's a yellow flag. People are geniuses beyond my wildest imagination sometimes. So we are following the mechanic once again, as he swings to the left and I follow him. Not as well. His lines are a lot more refined. As you can tell, he probably does at least 50 laps of this track a week, and I do not. Believe it or not, this is actually practice for my next BIKC session, which is at Leicester, a petrol track. Yeah, great practicing in an electric cars track when it's petrol you're racing in. I know, but I'm just making sure my reactions are on peak still, making sure that I've not all of a sudden forgotten how to drive a kart, and I have recorded some traffic sessions which should be coming up in an incoming video at some point soon. Wink, wink. But anyway, the mechanic is struggling to get past this guy. He calls it quits because he can't be bothered, and I go steaming through and I say, let me show you how it's done. Use the boot. Oh. Yeah, no, I can't show him how it's done because there's another yellow flag. Yeah, the mechanic got lucky there by going into the pits. Now I'm just out here frustrated. We skip forward and we are back underway as I'm checking behind me to make sure there's no one up my, well, immediately challenging me to do an overtake. As I go down the inside into the hairpin. It's not a usual move to make there, but we go for it as we clip the wall once again. Yeah, I have an affinity for walls at this place. The track is actually very narrow. You know, you can only get maybe 2 karts wide at any given point, maybe 3 at a push in certain areas, but not everywhere. As we start our fastest lap of the session, over the start finish line, up the up ramp, into the double right hander. Let's see if this was just a scrappy. Not as much oversteer there. As we go into the down ramp, hairpin, there was still a lot of oversteer there. Into the flat double left hander. Not very clean, you can hear the walls getting clipped there. Into hairpin 1. It was not much oversteer, but it looked like there was a bit of understeer. Hairpin 2 was clean, using up the entire track width there. But if you compare that to my first session, you wouldn't think there's a big difference, but there is. There's 5/10 in that. That was a 33.3. Yeah, editing Jack here. I've cut the sound off the actual kart in there because I said something super embarrassing. I go up the inside of one driver, up the inside of another driver, into the double left-hander, asserting my dominance like I am not a rental kart merchant. As me and we start laughing at each other. We're still under green flags. This is going very, very well. I'm proud of everyone here. You know, we're not crashing. We're not spinning. We're not doing anything wrong. Maybe we can get some nice chill racing in. So at the moment here, I'm just doing some semi-consistent laps as someone looks like they've been at a really awkward part of the track. But we go around the outside of them, cutting them off a little bit, but it's just because I wanted to get on with it. As there are 2 karts in front of me, I'm terrified. I picked up the inside, which was the best move to do because the guy on the outside decides to spin out. And we go up the inside of another gentleman there. Double right-hander here as we push to try and set maybe another fast lap. Who knows, we'll see. Go up the ramp, double right-hander. The guy checks right even though I'm on his left. I don't know. We get past him anyway, and that's all that matters. Into the double left-hander as the TeamSport Victoria madness continues. Yeah, that was pretty cringe, wasn't it? Track looks a bit clear at the moment as I just decided to have a massive snap of oversteer because I'm such a great driver. This is why I'm not in Formula 1, people, because I can't even really drive a go-kart. Well, I can, but just not very well. I'm a fraud. I've just come to the conclusion I'm a fraud. It's fine, we'll keep going. As we go into the down ramp, as we're catching this person in front of me here, go into the double left-hander, we are continuing to chase this man down. And we're going to go up the inside. Yeah, we're going to go up the inside. Oh no! Someone spins out in front of me. But we still get the move done. As we go into the second hairpin, as he gets a really awkward exit there, which kind of cuts me off, but that's racing, it happens sometimes. But he brakes on a fully flat out bit, and so does the person in front of me. Strange. The thing that makes me laugh about this is that this was a work do. I'm not on the work do, the rest of the people are on the work do. They proceeded to do a race after this. And what you can't see on the camera here is the fact of how my face was. That terrified me, because that's a part where you don't expect to see someone sideways, and someone was there sideways. Good job I have decent reactions when I want to. But we get going again under green flag conditions, I believe. Yeah, we're under green flag, as we chase down the next person here to see if we can catch them. Now, the wonders of TeamSport Victoria is that if there is a little bit of a time difference, you can catch them. But that's if there's not any flags. Red flag.
Why is it red?
Yeah, I do really love to complain. As you see me wave to the other guy who is about on the pace as I am. But the surprising thing is that my lap this session put me in second. It did not put me in first. The other guy set a really, really good lap time of a 32.9, as you can hear me. Yeah, very angry there. But you know, we ignore that, it's fine. Karting rage is a very real thing, people. As we start to get towards the end of the session, yeah, praise the Lord we're getting to the end of this. So I'm going to go for a move up the inside. No, I don't. He cuts me off a little bit. Not too bad. Get round the outside of him, and yeah, you can't park there, mate. You know, you're frustrating because I was almost past that guy. But you know, we're not in the race. It's practice sessions, as we are under yellow flag conditions once again. Now, the session's coming to a close, so I'm just going to leave you with the on-track footage and audio of the end of this session. Let's see if we can get this guy in front of me. I return to welcome you back to TeamSport Victoria. Session number 3, my third and final session of this video, which is a part 1. I had 5 sessions worth of footage, and in order to keep 3 people that are probably going to watch this video a little bit engaged, I've decided to only do 3. So as we get started, we've got a new character in front of us, one that we've not seen yet in this video. It's another TeamSport worker. He's another mechanic, but he's come to teach us a lesson today. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah. Holding my breath there for that. You can see me breaking down into hysterics. If you see this, mystery TeamSport mechanic, no you didn't. Don't turn off the video, give me the watch time, but you know, you didn't see it. As we get racing on for session 3, my memory serves me correct, this was probably the best session out of these first 3. I've saved 2 best sessions for the other video, so it's not really going to be Victoria Madness, but it still was. But there were a lot of quicker people in those next 2 sessions, and I set my 2 fastest times of the day as well. So yeah, just make sure to keep a lookout for when I post a tutorial of this track, because they're probably the lap times that I'm going to use. As you can see in the background here, we do get racing, as I'm starting to make a couple of overtakes, trying to follow that mechanic who's just paving the way in front of me. Now, the fact that I'm staying behind him is completely by choice, and that's because I want him to do all of the work for me, so I can get some nice, easy overtakes. So I'm trying to keep up with him, but he is very, very, very quick. But I think I do an alright job, to be fair. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, or why I'm not putting in as much effort as I was in the previous sessions, is because I've just had enough. As you can see here, there's another bloody yellow flag. Now, that's because there's constant yellow flags. The people have an awareness of a dodo, they're extinct, and it was just constantly infuriating. So I decided to stay behind someone who I know is quick. If I put my foot down, I might be able to keep up with him, but I don't know. So as you can see here, we are going to say definitely an interpretation of walking pace. If you're a TeamSport marshal, please turn off the video after giving me the watch time, and don't call me out on any of this. But we get back racing once again. Like I said, I'm letting the mechanic do the work in front of me. He's there trying to go for a gap that doesn't really exist, and there are about 5 million cars in front of us. I briefly get in front of him around the outside, but because I knew he was going to try and make a move on the inside, so I do a bit of a dirty switch back on the guy behind me, and by dirty I mean a very lovely move. And here we go, the mechanic here does a very, very wonderful move, switching to the inside there, overtaking 2 cars. I follow him and go up the inside into the double right-hander, and then we go down into the down ramp, into the hairpin, and yeah, you can just see he takes the corners more confidently than I do. But that one actually gained time on him, and we were both caught by surprise by that guy there, but we both get past him quite easily. There's another one there, and someone is spun around. Welcome to TeamSport, and another bleeding yellow flag. Yeah, as you can hear me in the background complaining about the car, it was very, very weird. There were certain parts of it which felt nice, planted, certain corners, but there were other parts where it was bouncing really, really badly. Could just be something to do with the tyre pressures, I'm not entirely sure. But we are still under yellow flag conditions. We're still trailing the mechanic, the very fast mechanic, and we get back underway. So we're trailing him again. He has got someone in front of him, and a bit of a gap has opened up, which is not ideal. I wanted to be right on his tail, so every time he made a move, I could just worm my way through it. But the guy in front of him is posing a bit of a battle, so I'm just gaining time slowly here, and you can see the gap is coming down as I use my boost on the start finish straight. The mechanic goes round the outside of one, tucks into the inside of another. I go round the outside and into the down ramp left-hander. I get the move done, but there is now a cart in between me and the mechanic, which is not ideal. I need to get this guy out of the way quickly if I want to continue to have a nice calm session. We dive up the inside into hairpin 1. Nice move, not too much bad about it. Into hairpin 2, I can see the mechanic's getting a little bit of rumpy bumpy with the guy in front. Someone's going slow, staying out of the way and letting us through, and we are back onto the start finish straight, using the boost to get past someone else, and now we are back behind him. This is going to plan for the time being. Now, for a bit of good racing, he managed to put himself in a very good position here, where he's alongside going someone into a flat out bit. They both end up braking, which threw me off guard a little bit, but I was able to get the move done, sticking behind this driver. Now, if you can see on the screen, he's wearing something called Birrell Art, which I didn't know what that was until after, where I did a little bit of researching. It's an outdoor karting team. This guy knows his stuff. So if I would have known that on the day, I probably would have tried to learn a bit more from him. But instead, I was just trying to survive and stop being so fed up. In fairness, he had a really, really bad corner then, but managed to switch to the outside. I follow him. Very risky move there. That guy could have easily punted me off to the side, but bit of good awareness from him and me leaving just about enough room managed to get me through that. Now, we are still following the mechanic. This session is very much the same. Like I said, I'm following this guy, trying my very best, and my fastest lap of the session is coming up, which is the fastest lap of this episode, but it is not a good one, as we go into another yellow flag.
Yeah, I'm not frustrated, I don't know what you're on about, and I was definitely not frustrated on the day with me saying yellow flag, yellow flag, yellow flag, but we're back going again. Now the mechanic goes up the inside here, I follow him through, we are still staying near each other. I'm surprised there's not been another red flag. Now, we keep going, we're still trailing him on the double right-hander onto the start-finish straight. Someone very awkwardly gets in the way, I'm not left with a lot of room, someone switches to the inside, I've gone round the outside of one, onto the inside of another, we're still trailing this guy in front of me, and I don't think I get past this one, if I remember correctly. Now the next lap is my fastest lap, so I will actually leave you in silence for that one, just because I want you to appreciate a little bit of the fact that I can maybe drive. So as we get onto that, I'm going to disappear for a little bit, and I will be back shortly.
That was the wall.
So there we are, that's the fastest lap I will set this episode, and it's a 33.3, but a very scrappy lap if you were watching it closely, tapping a lot of walls and so on and what forth, but it wasn't where I wanted to be, and I was left after this session just feeling very, very frustrated as... Yeah, bro just died. I have no idea how he spun out there. It's such an awkward part of the track to spin out on, as we've got another incident there to the right of us, under the yellow flag. Now we let the mechanic go back through, the other guy just kind of disappeared into the distance, and we're following the mechanic again. And it's just been the same thing throughout this entire session, and there's not really much else to report on. So I'm just going to disappear for a little bit, let you have a little bit of silence racing, and then I'll come back at the end for a little bit of a debrief.
Hey, what was it? Jesus. Wept.
And that was Victoria Madness Part 1. Now, this is obviously my first video on this channel, so just bear with me if the quality might be rather bad, the editing's rather shoddy, and I'm still not very with myself in doing these voiceovers, but I just want to thank you all for watching. You'll see all my socials at the end of this video, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.